how you get to.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining our next NSL Live Talk. Jesse Stahler, Andrew Starr, and Matt Davidson. And so now guess why we're having them here. And you just set a new world record, okay, little thing there, I guess, to talk about. And then, you know, a pretty good average shoe. But there's a special reason behind that, of course, and that is...
The Beaufort Seafood Festival, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, most of you know by now already, and of course they know, because they've been doing this together for quite a while. And you're here because you're Golden Knights, or former Golden Knights?
Yeah. We call them Olden Knights. Emphasis on the old.
Olden Knights, I like that. I've never heard it. So the headline is already clear. Did you know the Olden Knights? Now, did you know that? The Olden Knights set a new world record. Yeah, how about that?
Perfect headline.
That's a
I love it.
All right, you guys have known each other so let's go back. It all began, the three of you. You just won the 8-way competition with a new world record for a single round, the 37, with the GK XP8, and with the highest average ever. Only a tie, but you know, it's still the highest average ever. How and when did you meet the first time? So you're all recruited by Golden Knights, of course, you know, US Army team, but you've been doing this for a long time, here now with GKXPA, but before with the Golden Knights. So who wants to give me the history?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for Jesse and I, you know, Matt was obviously, you know, he predates us, and so he was a guy that we looked up to, you know, when we were just fresh new Golden Knights doing demonstration jumps, and, you know, had hopes to become Golden Knight competitors. So we knew Matt probably before, you know, Matt knew us. So obviously he was kind of the first in line of the three sitting here, and then Jesse and I followed on shortly after. So we've been competing together as a lineup in some shape or form since 2012.
2012, okay. But the numbers that we have been relating to, the scoring numbers, were done by all three. I mean, everything of the records in the past, you know, in the recent past, was where you were in the lineup, right? Mm-hmm. The first one was, maybe Matt can follow up on that.
The first one was, would that have been 2015, right? We did both in 2015.
Both in 2015, yeah.
Dubai.
Well, the first one was...
First one was at Nationals in Eloy.
Yeah.
It was round one of the 8-way Nationals in Eloy that year.
With the 33 on
The
that?
32.
Okay, so there was a previous one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had another one before that, the 31, right? You were in that
Well, I
lineup.
was the alternate for the team in 97, so I wasn't on the actual
Okay,
count.
so that was 97.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a 30 and a 31 at the same event there, right?
Yeah, that was exciting. Yeah, watching from the ground as the alternate, it was exciting just to watch, and it was cool to be a part of that, kind of riding the coattails of that generation of team. Yeah.
And that was holding until 2015.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Kerry Mills just sent. We have a little kind of alumni group text, and Kerry Mills just sent us both the 97 jump back to back with the one that we just did.
You have video of the 97
yeah,
one? Because I do not.
Yeah, he had a little screen recording of it. I'm sure we can find it somewhere. But all the other Olden Knights, we've been getting some texts and some phone calls here in the last couple hours.
Can't imagine, the brotherhood. And then it was improved in 2015. So we had this in 2012, right? You said, or which year was the 32?
That was 2015. So they were only separated by a few months.
It was one meet, yeah. So the Nationals would have been October, November in 2015, and then we had the World Air Games in Dubai in November, December.
Right.
So they were back-to-back competitions for.
And that was a 33 then, right?
Yes.
The first time. And then you repeated it a few years later.
Yeah, 2018.
In Australia. And that's when you had Jennifer actually in the lineup too, right?
Yeah.
She's missing here, but she's not an olden knight,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah,
can't really do that.
She's a little
Sorry,
busy right
Jen.
now trying to secure another set of gold medals for the U.S. delegation.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We'll give her a pass on that one.
Well, I may catch her by herself or someday with you again.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The best one I've ever had with the two of you, I wasn't present there, but was your push-up session in the backyard. Jesse.
Maybe that's why my shoulder hurts these days.
Yeah.
So with Jesse, we're going into the more recent past now. So we are now in 2018. In 2015, you were still you were the youngest member probably by then?
Let me think. It depends. No, I was flying back there with Larry. So I had already flown in the outside rear position with Kurt Eisenbarger, and then I got moved over to the tail slot with Larry Miller, start of 2015, and yeah, it was so it was kind of fresh. I mean, it's similar, right? But a new position, new piece partner. You have to learn the ropes all over again. But yeah, it was a really good time. Really good time for our team, our lineup. We had a really good slow burn with one new person every couple of years. Everyone else is a bunch of world champions. So a really great way to educate yourself in the sport and cut your teeth on it. And man, I'll tell you what, going into 2015, we just felt ready. We were just hoping the draw was gonna, give us the opportunity, and it did, both at Nationals and then right behind it. So leaving the 2015 year, that season, we all kind of felt like the sky was the limit, going into 2016, and that the world meet would be in Chicago in the U.S. It was kind of just the culmination event, knowing that we'd have some teammates, long-time teammates, retiring after that. So it was a special couple of years for sure.
Only the three of you actually can also or experience the different competition draws we had for those record numbers. It couldn't be any more different than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? So like the first two, the 32 and the first 33 that we set, we really didn't know that those were going to be world record jumps. We knew they were quick, but we didn't know that they were fast like that. So the 32 that we set, it was round one at Nationals in Eloy, and we didn't, we landed, pretty good jump. And when we put the stopwatch on it and 32 came up, we were kind of just as amazed as everybody else was. We didn't think it had world record potential. And then, same thing in the World Air Games in 2015. I mean, it was an all random sequence. And all random sequences in 8-way aren't fast, So we had no designs that, it was going to be anything special, but that team was special. And it just clicked, and it was the same thing again. We put the stopwatch on and it was 31, 32, and everybody's eyes are getting big, and it stops at 33, and we're like, holy cow, we just did it again, and we really had no designs to do it. We just wanted to go up and make a good jump. The first one that we knew really had potential, at least of the record-setting jumps. We had some tries before, but was the one in Australia in 2018. We knew that was a fast jump. It had 3 fast blocks in it. But we were a little bit protective of the lead that we had, against the Russian 8-way team, and we were, maybe a little worried about making mistakes when we should have been, more confident in ourselves and ready to step on the gas.
You stepped on the gas here. Interesting the approach. Not only that the sequences were so different on the extreme, 5 randoms, 3 blocks, the mixture of that, but it sounds like the approach was different too. The first one you didn't even care. We didn't even know. But here, there was pressure. I mean, if anywhere and when, then you had to show it here now. You had only actually external pressure to get yourself up a little bit. So, which approach is the more promising one?
I think it depends on the dynamic. For us in 2018, I was a voice of, hey, let's approach this with just being smooth and allowing the pace to set itself, and maybe we were a bit too cautious. Looking back, I was definitely too cautious in approaching that, and maybe what I was putting out to the team as far as how I thought we should approach that jump. But so this time, I definitely didn't want to do that, and I think we're all experienced enough to know that we didn't really have to talk about it all that much. We knew it had the potential. We talked about that a little bit, but we also I think we're all experienced enough to know that we just need to focus on one point at a time. If you build one good formation after the next, after the next, after the next, it's you're going to eventually get there. But there has to be an element of go for it, I think, as opposed to what we did in 2018.
It is probably also physically a different approach. If you have only random formations, you know that. So your mind is prepared for in a certain way, a certain style for that one. If it's 3 blocks, it's a different way how to deal with it, right? Now, so this one here with a mixture of random formations and blocks, you didn't have that. You had to do random work, but then you had those blocks in there. So it should have been maybe even more challenging than the 2 other ones, as we heard were pretty easy anyway.
I feel like there's an evolution to our approach. In 2015, we were really trying to, a mantra of ours was always keep it tunnel tight, keep it small, keep the framework consistent. And we had success early on in the wind tunnel much more than we did in the sky. And we were always trying to translate that and figure out how to do that in the sky well. And I felt like 2015 was a culmination. Again, like we kind of figured that out finally. So if we had an all random sprint, ended up being fast in Dubai, we excelled at it because it was something that we had trained for. We really were looking for that all random sequence. We knew that was a weakness of ours, how to connect the points. We had the block technique and execution, but it was time to kind of, figure out our top speed. And I think the stars just aligned again with that draw. It was perfect. And I would say the same was true at this competition. I feel like we had been working a lot of, the faster blocks. Kirk or whoever the captain was for that week, every fast sequence we had usually was more block heavy. It wasn't that generic all random. So we had been training for that for the last two years really, and being in the outside front, I felt like John and I and like we had done it so often, it was just normal for us. It was normal execution. In fact, our practice jump, we had a practice jump here. It was a similar with a 3 out the door, so it's like we only had good feelings and we had such good success recently with that kind of sequence that we just felt like it was perfect timing for us to kind of peak at this competition.
Well, it surely was a perfect timing at least, when all the pieces eventually fell in place, except you got stuck on the 239.
Yeah.
Before round 10, I was counting, doing the numbers, and I knew you needed a 24, I think it was, to maintain the 24 average. So you did 24 for 24 average. And then, did you have it here, the 23, obviously, right?
Yeah, still in the 23-9 club. But we were aware of it. We all knew, we needed to get to the bottom of that fourth 10, to secure the 24-point average. And
how far away were you?
Some would say it's there.
Some would say that it might be there. Two of the 3 judges thought it was there, and we thank you. But it doesn't get any closer than that, right? One more judge presses the button, and you've got a 24 average. But everybody knows, like any sport, you can pick up that 24th point. We made mistakes through all 10 rounds. So the fact that it came down to the last freeze frame, we could have done anything to clean up rounds 1 through 9 to get there. And honestly, I think with the amount of training that we did this year and the amount of expertise that we have in the formation, it's really just a great meet from all 11 competitors.
We had 4 penalties before round 10. Okay. Now looking back,
wouldn't mind having 1 or 2 of those back.
who got mad when somebody busted it? Except me. Did you?
I think it's kind of an ownership thing, right? Like you're always mad at yourself if you're the one that busted it or if you're the one that wasn't on grips. But at the end of the day, it's a team effort, and as long as I've been doing this, I've never made it through 10 rounds mistake-free. And I don't think there's anybody, out there in Tent City that's ever done the same either. So, to come away with just a fraction of a second away from the 24 is huge for us. It's now the official world record average. So to have done it twice is very rewarding.
And you have the world record for a single round.
I think it's also important to note that the good work of Gina Billings and John D'Annunzio managing, for John, the organization of a world meet and throwing this all together with Roof. while maintaining top level competitor mindset. And then Gina going back and forth between 8-way, 4-way, it's not a simple task. Very few people have done that successfully, and she's about to be on a very short list of names that have done that so well. So we're extremely satisfied with the result and the effort. And I think taking this meet, looking at it in hindsight, we're all just proud of each other, proud of ourselves that we connected with one another. It's maybe the last competition for a few of these olden nights, and it was a special memory. So we're very content, I think, with that result, and looking forward to the next USA 8-way team. Not sure what that's going to look like yet, but we're already rooting for them.
Nobody knows. I haven't asked that question, and I guess I will not. For the old nights, I hear that Jesper is recruiting for 2 new members, so maybe you are on the short list there.
I'm not sure I meet the weight requirement.
I know Jesse continues with the 4-way team, right, for sure, and then the rest we'll find out eventually. The NS Army is first of all, of course, I know that. Get anything that is new, we will hear first here. So thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and everything, all the good stuff for whatever is coming.
Well, thank you for having us and everything you do for competitive skydiving and FS around the world.
Thank you. Thank you.